Welcome to the Miniatures Paintburst. Today we're going to talk about how I organize when I do a large build. Alrighty, so what we're going to do is going to show you what I do to organize. First off, I have my tools on a napkin right there, and I made these essential toothpicks out of little pegs called woodpile. I think I got them at Walmart, and what I did was I take this little stick and I sharpen the edges. Again, you can use toothpicks for this, which can be just as easy. I don't know, I just had this lying around, so I went to town with it. And when you use arrows, when you want to apply small things to small areas, sort of like filling in gaps with putty, that's always good to have on hand really quickly. So this way you're not searching for something when you're building your, or needing to fill in some gaps really quickly with putty. Next here I have pill bottles, and I did a video about pill bottles very early on. There's plenty of videos about pill bottles or using stands, and some people buy stands. And what I'm doing is I painted over this one quite a bit. I got this sandpaper here at Lowe's, and you can get it at any box store, any kind of store that sells like construction stuff. It has tools. Usually there's sandpaper there somewhere, or anything with a painting section. All right, so what I'm doing is scuffing up the top and is ensuring that the poster tack that I'm going to put on there is going to stick well and not stick to paint, because sometimes it comes loose because it sticks to paint. So I just want to scuff that up and get rid of the paint that's on there, so this way it'll stick effectively. And then again, put your miniature on top. Really, really easy to do. And you can fill these pill bottles up with sand. That's what I've been doing recently, or any kind of rocks or anything like that, just to give them weight. I want to talk a little bit about cork. And putting bases on there. Now, you see, I had a problem with this water bottle right here. I kept on knocking it over because I am a klutz when I build things, right? So this way, I put this base on it. Look, I'm just like knocking into it, trying to reach stuff, and it's not spilling all over the place. I think I did it about 15 times before I actually did something about that situation. So this is the same method that I'm going to use here for any kind of cork that you put that in. That's a cork bottle, a wine bottle. You don't want to adhese that or bond that with super glue or anything like that. What you want to bond it with is a hot glue gun, which I use here. I got this one at AC Moore, but you can use any hot glue gun really. I like big stuff like that, so this way me and my clumsy hands won't knock it over and make a mess. And there you go, you just attach to that, and it makes it very, very secure. A little cheap way. Now you use cardboard. I use chipboard on this instance, because I have plenty of it lying around for my terrain projects. So there you go. You have how to put together bases. And this one that is complete. And there you go. And I put those because he's carrying a gun and he has two hands in front of him and on front of the miniature, and it'll block the details, so I had to do a sub-assembly on that one, and it makes it real sturdy. You see how I'm just knocking it around, and it's like, you know, it's not impossible to knock over, but yeah, it's real. Being a klutz that I am, I have to put a lot of safeguards. And there he is. There's the Marine with arms. I'm building a Space Wolf army. That's my current project. And this is the build that I wanted to show you. Now, last build that I did, you see, I numbered. I realized that if I numbered the system, like this one has number 6, and this is number 6 as well, that even if I have all the pieces thrown around, I know which parts or subassembly goes to which major assembly. Okay. Another thing that I did is that since this is my first time and I'm building Blood Scouts, and I know Blood Claws, and I know very little about the 40k universe, so I kind of wanted to build it like the box was building. And I know they give me a lot of opportunities and a lot of different kind of styles of build, but I was like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? So I just, went all standard. Worst come to worst, get a unit and do it up any way I want to. But I found all the models and poses here very, very appealing, and as I'm building them, I'm putting little poster tacks on their faces so I know which ones I built and which ones I need to build for the rest of the unit, and I went through the box. So I'm actually using the box to help me organize which one I'm building. Now, the last one there did not have a chain sword, so I had to do like a two-handed sword on that last one for some reason. So it actually isn't what the box says it is. All right, so we spoke about the cork. Now let's talk about how we attach things to the cork. You can use this very, very cheap paper clip just to put something in there, and then you can angle the paper clip any which way. So if you're doing sub-assemblies, paper clips do come in handy. You can get the brass little pegs that they sell, but you know, why spend money, a lot of money, when you don't really have to? And paper clips are maneuverable. Another thing that I use are little nails. They come in various sizes. I use flathead nails, and that helps me. Flathead help me because when I'm putting poster tack on the top of it, it has a surface area to adhere to, and I can manipulate it. So all you have to do is basically take a nail. I wouldn't hammer it straight down in, but I'll take a flat edge here. I'm just going to use these clippers gently to just put it in, and there you go. What you're usually putting together is, this does not weigh a lot, so it's not really rip off the caulk. And if it's that weighty, I wouldn't put it on little pieces of caulk anyway. All right, so here I am. And it's important that when you're putting the poster tack down, that you actually go over the edges of that top piece, the flat head. And I'll show you by looking up here's some extra heads that I have here. Again, that came with the sprue. For these blood claws, that give me a lot of options, and I have a lot of options with various heads, and I'm going to keep all that in case I ever need it, especially for terrain, putting them on spikes. But there you go. You just put them onto the stick and go with that poster tack there. Speaking of which, when you have extra pieces and you kind of want to organize it, I take that Chinese food container and I kind of just, take these bags and put little bags inside of them. And you can get these bags, these are little pill bags that you can get. Any drugstore will sell it to you. And I kind of put the small assemblies for each of the Coven Throne there because I built the mortars cart and it has the option of getting a Coven Throne. So I do have a whole bunch of things here actually from my Age of Sigmar stuff. And, I have the hex rates, which had the Black Knights, and I number them Black Knight 1, Black Knight 2, and I number them in the order which the instruction booklet tells you to build them. So this way I can keep track of which one is which when I look back at the instruction booklet. Again, another helpful tip to do with all the extra bits that you have. Instead of throwing into a bin, you actually can have them organized. Plus, you don't have all these huge sprues taking up space. So that's another way to organize the build. All right, so I have plenty of pill bottles, as you can see here, and I have plenty of bills. This is my next build. After building the Mortis engine and finishing that project, I was inspired and no longer intimidated by doing more than one build at a time. So I'm doing this build here. That being said, I think I'm going to do about 4 at a time, or I'm starting off with 4 so I can get the methodology of how to build those first 4 operatives, and then I'm going to replicate that throughout the entire project. So coming up with a system that works, writing it down, and then replicating the process. Also, writing it down, write down the paints that you use as well. You want to keep organized, so this way when you want to add to this army, you can actually know which paints you use, which methodology you use step by step through the process. And if you follow the step-by-step process, you will have no problem whatsoever replicating it for your army, and that'll create symmetry throughout your army as well. So this is the first time I ever had the gall to actually put together so many miniatures at the same time to be able to create it. So a lot of things going on here. I'm going to learn non-metallic metals with this. I'm going to learn, like every time I do a project, I try to learn something new with it. So I'm trying non-metallic metals. That's going to be a big thing for me. And if I learn how to do that and master it by doing it so many times with so many infantry units, it's better for me. Plus, these are the little guys that go into front the fray, so not high quality units. So, if I make a little mistake, it's not really a big deal. But if it's a high quality unit, then it's like, oh my gosh, that was expensive. All right, well, there's my next build. Thumbs up for ya. Well, there it is, how I organize doing large builds. Now, there's a lot of information there on how I put things into little bags and how I just organize in the order in which I build. Again, these are little steps that you can take to ensure that things don't get a little bit hectic and confusing and most of all frustrating when you're hobbying. Hobbying is supposed to be an enjoyable experience, so I'm having a great time, and I want to ensure that I don't get frustrated throughout the build looking for a piece here and there under a mountain of stuff. When you get a large build like that, make no mistake, there's plenty of things on those sprues that might get you confused. Well, I'm not saying that this is the right way to organize, but I'm definitely saying this is a way to organize, and you may want to think about organizing your hobby time, especially for large builds. Well, I hope you found this helpful, and if you do, share, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time on the Miniatures Paintbrush.